Okay, it's life in the new millennium. I've got this really good camera and it's choosing to not play ball, so I'm just going to talk to it as if it is playing ball, and hopefully it will actually record something and won't give me a write error due to some kind of issues with a memory card. Obviously the best way of making a YouTube video is to get yourself an AeroPress coffee maker and make yourself 3 really strong espressos. Alright, you shoot them very quickly, then 45 minutes later you're coming on the camera like you're Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. Seriously. However, I haven't done that today, so I'm going to be calmer, cooler, more reasoned. Obviously I'm a YouTuber who's getting old, and most of the people who do successfully on YouTube are young, good-looking, successful people. However, I remember when I was getting old, and that was about 8 years ago now, so essentially, fuck that shit, if you know what I mean. Right, now what was I actually going to talk about? Right, there's only one thing that Alistair Crowley said that was really important. To my mind's eye, at this present point in time. Of course, yeah, tomorrow I'll say something different, but this is what I'm saying today. And that is that he did say that all argumentation is argumentation in a circle. Why is that? Because all argumentation is incomplete. Okay? You can follow an argument, whether it's on blogs or in books or whatever, you can follow it to a particular logical conclusion. And eventually you'll get convinced. The author himself could be someone who is very eminent. Okay, that's someone who's got like lots of letters after their name, studied at the best universities, got more qualifications than I can shake a stick at, has had all the time, energy and money to be able to study and to do so without harming themselves financially, and is someone in the world, right? Someone who is respected or renowned or whatever. But even they don't know everything, and they will be wrong on some key issues and key facts. There will be some key truths which are sold to us, which will be factually inaccurate. I mean, in the ancient world, it was like the priesthood, and they were the ones who were true, you know, and right, and we had to listen to them. And we have lots more priesthoods these days. We're not just talking about all the various different New Age cults which are out there, and all the various different New Age beliefs within all the different New Age cults, and all different religious groups and sub-denominations. No. We're also talking about all the various different denominations of scientists and doctors and artists and politicians and theologians and everything else, and YouTube users and various different individuals from various different points of view. They will all have developed some points of view which are wrong. Every single one of them. Okay? That's a worry, because these are the people who are now listened to. The ideas of the world are being shaped by them. As someone who is a voice on the internet, as someone who is a person who works online, I cannot ethically do what other people in my trade do. Alright, I just can't do it. Which is to just sell one particular simple point of view. I could set up an entertainment channel, I could just do that as an entertainment thing, but unless I've got this channel here saying this kind of stuff, you know, it would be wrong. Absolutely wrong for me to say 100% I believe. So when I'm talking about, let's say, the experience of something, and I'm just reiterating now, okay, the experience is real because it's a real experience. What the real experience means, we don't know. It is something which is part of a larger issue that this world doesn't know about. Other people who've explored it can only explain it in very simplistic terms. Because of the whole Chinese whispers thing that happens on the internet, and indeed in human society in general, we have a problem. Because the story gets blown up, the issue gets blown up, and then to say that you're interested in something, let's say an astral projection experience, makes people think that you have a whole spectrum of other opinions, which you might not. But unless these things are experienced and people talk about them, then there won't ever be some kind of objective research done in the future. So there is a moral imperative, okay, to talk about these things. If you haven't experienced it or you don't accept it, to be honest, that's your problem. If you're a free thinker, a genuine free thinker, okay, it is your moral duty, okay, to have a degree of skepticism, but also to recognize that skepticism itself, when taken to the extreme, is no different to blind belief. Okay, it's like blind disbelief, blind belief. They're both blind. And I think that humans in general have got to stop being that way, you know. But they don't want to, because they're stupid, because they can't think things through, because no one wants to be on unsteady ground. I mean, there's different types of people in this world. There's those who want simple answers, and then there's those who are willing to ask more questions. There's those who want strong belief or strong disbelief, and then there's those who want to explore and to experiment and to say, well, hang on a second, maybe it's more nuanced than that, maybe it's more complicated than that, maybe there's more than one way to be. Maybe there's more than one way to conceptualize of your identity, of what you think is right, of what is desirable. We all go through moments when we believe strongly in something, or we get obsessed by something. And I've had moments in the past few years when I was like desperately obsessed by a particular set of ideas or a particular thing, and it was not applicable to the situation. It wasn't that I was wrong, it wasn't really applicable to the situation, maybe. And I'll go into that later on, maybe. When I was going through my time within the pagan groups, and in my earlier days in Christianity, and in my early days associated with Judaism, I noticed the same thing. Everyone thought they were right. Everyone thought they were good. Everyone thought that they were somehow protecting the world. Sometimes you can be so obsessed with doing good that you end up, because you're only looking at the world through a filter, you find yourself doing harm. You don't mean to. It's like the old expression that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But it's not necessarily the road to hell, is it? It's the road to change, positive or negative. And it's a question of who are you helping? How are you helping them? Who are you not helping by this? Or how are you both helping and not helping at the same time? And sometimes is it best to let people think for themselves and make their own decisions? Let them be. Let them make their own mistakes and fathom their own understanding of reality. I mean, if you approach an individual, okay, and you think that person's got things wrong with them and I'm really concerned about them, and you have a very strong formula in your mind's eye as to what it is that makes a well-adjusted, healthy, successful person, and you put that person through that program, but let's say there was something different about that person, so that that particular program, that particular method, does not work with them and in fact damages them. What then? Would you have helped? Or would you have not helped? I have to be very careful with how I explain myself to people. It's actually quite a big burden of responsibility to both help and to allow people to work out their own way forward.